Synthaholics.
Warp 5, 6, 7, 8.
Welcome to Synthaholics. Thank you so much for downloading this episode. Today you have myself, Aaron O'Brien. You have David Duncan. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
And we have a returning guest. We sadly haven't had him on for quite a bit. Joe DePinto. Hello, Joe.
Ahoy, hoy.
We haven't had you on since you just reminded us since 2018 for the Star Trek.
No, I think it was 2019.
2019
2019 Star Trek Las Vegas. He's our official Star Trek Las Vegas correspondent.
Was it 19? I thought it was 18.
I thought it was 19.
I've been at both. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was 18.
Maybe.
I think I was on after that. I think maybe in 2019 for something.
Okay.
Just the hell of it.
Yeah.
I'm all off. I'm sorry. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And we are talking about today the Star Trek Discovery episode Far From Home.
So
and
why isn't this part 2 of the previous episode? Why was the last one called part 1?
I don't know. We're going to have to find out. I don't know.
Because I looked ahead at the IMDb or the wiki, and I don't think any episode that's tentatively titled so far is called part 2 of the first episode. So I'm just like, that's strange.
It is odd. I'll say that.
Point.
Not really sure what that means.
They did announce season 4 of Discovery is confirmed, which is, I thought it was kind of interesting, and I texted Aaron about it early in the week. He's like, why do you think this is interesting? Well, in season 1, they didn't confirm season 2 was a thing, even though it had to be in the bag since CBS invested basically zero money to season 1. Netflix paid for it all. Season 2 was basically a sure thing, or it seemed like it should have been, and they didn't announce that was confirmed until, they were almost out of the Mirror Universe.
Well, they made the mistake with Enterprise. When was how many seasons they have? Was
4.
it 4? Yeah.
Yes.
So most of them were 7 seasons ish.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're being proactive in it.
I think it just comes down to is CBS All Access is now supporting itself with its subscriptions enough that they can make plans for next seasons. So they have Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Picard for the next season. Lower Decks is going to be back, so...
You're supporting it on the backs of Star Trek fans.
Absolutely, but it's happening. So, and we're going to get Strange New Worlds with Pike and Crew, so,
Michelle Yeoh even references Section 31 in this episode. So
she does. She has to throw that in. It's like, when's my show coming?
I want my goddamn show. She breaks the fourth wall and starts yelling at Alex Kurtzman. It was the best part of the episode, actually. Sorry for the spoilers before we get into the spoiler part. But going back to what you were saying a minute ago, Joe, Enterprise is actually canceled in season 3. The only reason they got greenlit for season 4 was so they could have syndication number of episodes. They had
I didn't know that.
They had to get to over 100 episodes so it could be syndicated, and because that's where the syndication rules of the time. That's why season 4 was the best season, because the studio was totally hands off. They're just like, just make this number of episodes, and then we'll get our syndication, and then we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Do you like the season finale in that one?
Oh, the season finale is terrible, but the rest of the season is spectacular. They just totally dropped the ball with it being a Next Generation holodeck episode.
Yeah, I like to throw back Lower Decks. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they do. They totally reference that in Lower Decks.
Not only is
poor Scott Bakula.
I didn't think it was interesting only for the fact that I assumed with Picard and everything else coming out that CBS All Access is a viable thing with the shows. And not only with that is it seems like CBS and Paramount, their Viacom, whatever spaghetti mess that is that Paramount's coming out with their own streaming service as well now.
I thought they were merging, or
yeah, it's something's happening. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a separate one or if it's merging. I mean, all the merging stuff I hear from Doomcock and Midnight's Edge, so I can't really believe them completely because
no, I don't believe anything they say.
They report everything from totally made up stuff to actual rumors. So it's it's hard to gauge with that. But they are the same company. So them combining it into one streaming service would make sense.
It would make sense, yeah. And who knows? I mean, so maybe CBS All Access won't be a thing, but maybe it might be Paramount, or whatever they call the
Mountain Stream. Drink all that pee fumbling off the mountain.
Just before we start recording, Joe, you were mentioning about the rights to the new Star Trek Las Vegas had been changed.
Yeah, so I've been going to it ever since I think 2015 or 2016, which was my first convention ever, and I really enjoy it. Really have a great time there. It's amazing for me to see the actors and just talk to them on just a human base, just human contact. Just really. Yeah, and so I was kind of disappointed seeing that Creation lost their contract with CBS, which there's a lot of gripe on a lot of people that go to the convention saying Creation doesn't really give a crap about the fans and they're just in it for the money, which who knows. But I've always had a good time. I don't mind dishing out the hundreds of bucks it takes to go to it and all that. But yeah, I was sad to hear that they no longer have the rights. They are coming back. So this year it was originally scheduled in August, which was the normal convention dates. Then COVID hit, and they pushed it back to December, which it was the only convention for the end of 2020 that was still scheduled. But just recently, I think it was a few weeks ago, Creation said they're canceling it, or it was probably a month ago. They canceled it, and they're going to have to reschedule for August at the Rio, which was the original. This year it was rescheduled at Caesar's Palace, their new convention center they have there. But now they're back to the Rio in August, and it's unofficial. So I forget what it's called. It's the 55th anniversary something. And they're not going to have naming rights, so they can't call Patrick Stewart Captain Picard. They can call him Patrick Stewart's going to be attending, but they can't say Captain Picard's attending, stuff like that.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously they just don't have the rights to throw out their names for Star Trek and anything else they have.
What if they misspelled the name, with a K? Put a K in Captain and put a K in Picard. Picard.
They could probably get away with it.
Yeah, it's just Captain Picard. I just misspell everything.
Or Captain, CAP.
Captain.
And
draw a blue hat on him like Captain Crunchman.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd like to see that show actually. But I mean, the thing is that they got to be in it for the money to make it work.
Yeah.
Well,
but
they also extended,
as long as they're not gouging people, that's the thing.
I kind of think they are, because they extended the con from 3 days to 4 days, and wasn't it 5 days the last?
Yeah, Wednesday to Sunday.
That's too long. I mean, I've done a 3-day con before out at PAX East, and that'll wipe you. 3 days of convention going is brutal on the body.
100%, especially in Vegas.
Oh yeah, and then Vegas, there's just so much, and the city never sleeps. There's lights 24/7. I mean, that's insane. Boston's a little bit different, but still, this is just for a regular con goer. Not even if you're a cosplayer, you got to get up early, got to put on the makeup and clothes, which are probably harder to put on the regular. I mean, that's a lot of work, and to make a 5-day con, that just seems like endurance run brutality, and I don't know, I almost needed a vacation from going to PAX. I mean, it was a great experience. I loved going to PAX back when I did, but it's hard work going to a convention for 3 days in a row and staying for the entire day.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's why I do think they're a little bit price gouging. Granted, I've never been to Star Trek Las Vegas, but doing a 5-day con, it just seems a little bit excessive.
Now, will you be going to this one, Joe?
Yeah, I will. I really like the Rio, and I like I like Star Trek, and it's just a good time for me. It's always been such an amazing experience every year. The people that do it, the cosplay, the actors, the karaoke that they do, the Klingon karaoke. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Well, have to let us know if anything's changed or if it's all just a good time no matter what. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, should we get into a spoilers-free first discussion of Far From Home?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, so guys, we're just going to talk about maybe 5 minutes, maybe a little more, just spoiler-free if you have not seen the newest episode of Star Trek Discovery. So, Joe, since you're a guest, without giving out too many details, first impressions and thoughts of this episode and maybe what you saw last episode.
Yeah. First of all, I'm enjoying it. I think this has been they always say Star Trek hits its stride. It was in 3rd season or 4th season. And I think Discovery is right there. It's for me, this was a lot more enjoyable than and they were great episodes, first season openers last season and the 1st season. But for me, I really enjoyed the storytelling here. Really, we're in uncharted space. We don't know what's going on, especially when we first last episode when we first get there. We don't know when it is. We know kind of when it is, but we don't know where the Discovery is. And that journey for me, without giving any spoilers away, I enjoyed that quite a bit. Really good episode. The hope is out there. I love seeing. I think that's a common theme we're seeing is a couple of people really having the hope and the dream of the Federation, keeping that dream alive, and that's been pretty cool to see too.
Yeah. I'm enjoying this newest episode. I thought they did a really good job of making it exciting. The predicament they put them in, and then how things kind of sort of resolve themselves. But we still have the mystery that's kind of like starting, which we can get into when we get into full spoilers. But
I mean, I don't think they even touched on the mystery at all.
Well, but they mention it, but they don't understand it yet. So, I mean, they have an overarching mystery that they got to like figure out, which
the burn,
and then it's great to see how all the characters are sort of like lining up and everything's happening after the fallout of all the insanity that happened at the end of season 2. So
I'm so curious on the burn. Like, what is it? What happened?
I know a lot of thoughts on that, Dave.
It's the color of Tilly's hair.
Oh, there you go.
Overall, way better episode than the first one. Personally, I thought. It just I was kind of wrong about my prediction, but I was kind of right at the same time. It wasn't how I thought it would work out from a prediction for this episode, and when we see Discovery. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. So many cowboy vibes. So
a lot of cowboy vibes. Yeah.
It reminded me of that TOS episode where they're just like Cowboy Land or whatever. Except there was no. Except there was. I mean, there wasn't like the draw. Like the face off like that. But there was very westerny elements to this episode, which were kind of like super throwbacky. Yeah. Which was very interesting. But yeah, overall, big improvement over the last episode. I mean, it felt like Star Trek. I mean, like down to, like I said, like a TOS episode where they're at a saloon.
Yeah, you're thinking of the TOS episode "Spectre of the Gun." Yes.
I kept getting vibes of that. I also I watched Voyager's the Omega directive last night. Just in case the stuff starts coming back up, and unfortunately, we didn't even touch on the background other than just a brief reference in this episode. So I might have been premature watching that.
Well, let's get into full spoilers. If you have not seen Far From Home, the second episode of Star Trek Discovery, please pause it, or if you don't mind the spoilers, continue on. So here we go. So this is the second episode of season 3, and it first aired October 22nd, 2020. So, and this is Discovery comes through the wormhole, the time portal, whatever you want to call it.
Graviton waves.
And there's a planet that they're hurtling towards, which is like surrounded by asteroids, but the crew is all unconscious. So they're sort of like the same thing that the Enterprise crew in Voyage Home went through when they went through time travel. They knocked out for a bit. So
yeah, it was kind of like that, except we didn't get all the... Man, they really should have done the weird white CGI with the heads coming up out of the water. That made no sense.
There be whales.
And then there's like the weird, like, I don't know what that shape was they were zooming in on. That scene makes no sense to me at all, but it was...
You talk about the movie?
Yeah, like, because they show
it was a weird choice.
They show all their heads come up through like the water or the veil or whatever, and then there's like this weird shape they zoom into, and it's not a whale. I don't know what it is.
It's like a whale, but it's
not. It's
impressionistic. Yeah.
It's like, is that a part of a brain? Is that the medulla? I don't know. What is that?
Well, yeah. So and they slowly start waking up, and this is obviously they're on a collision course with this planet, and they're hurtling towards it, and the
ship is invulnerable.
They get the ship enough in operation to pull it up enough that it's not going to crash directly at the planet, and it does this skid across a glacier, and but it does do a lot of damage to the ship. One of the things happens is Lieutenant Demler flies over a council and is injured, and so she's very disorientated, and it seems like something happened to her during this.
I think Control got her. Like I was theorizing last episode. I don't think we're done with Control quite yet.
Do you think now Control did she interact with anything with Control in season 2? I don't remember that.
But the thing is, maybe there's some nanites hanging off around the ship somewhere that weren't all inside of Leland, because she's the only one who had a visible open wound, and so maybe
but she crashed onto the floor, so I mean that's why she had the open wound.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that's an easy entry for a few stray nanites. But
the nanites would have been totally disengaged from any kind of intelligence after Control lost its link with it when they went through the after Leland.
Leland was Control, but that's what I'm saying. They rebuild bodies from the nanites, so the one, a handful of nanites might be enough to kind of remember. And she starts acting strange as soon as she has that cut. The camera lingers on her a lot. Whenever she gets in the sick bay and she walks out, and Culber's just kind of staring at her, checking her out, even though he's gay.
I did think it was interesting in the opening. They did show the recap. They did show Leland in there saying, "I'm never gone" or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good point, Joe.
They did focus on Leland and the nanites, and Giorgio had stepped through them. So maybe she got some stray nanites. They weren't completely destroyed by the magnetism or whatever it was that was inside the chamber that killed it.
Well, geez, she she had it literally on her boots.
She had chunks of Leland.
Yeah,
she did. But I mean, there might be some of the little nanites might have survived.
Yeah, who knows?
And I think that's why she's acting strange. I wouldn't put it past. Discovery's been really big on the Control thing. And then the tentacles from Picard looked a lot like the Control thing too. Yeah. So I don't think it's completely gone. I mean, maybe
that'd be a cool tie-in.
I mean, maybe she doesn't have. Maybe it's just a concussion. And
maybe it's just also her implants too. Maybe those went haywire.
Yeah, but I think it's just an ocular implant. I think all of that stuff on her head is just an ocular implant, from what I understand. I could be wrong.
But I mean, didn't they have the story of how she was injured, and was it season 2, and how she got the implant on her?
I think that was the other character, wasn't it?
Oh, that was Arian.
That was Arian. She got the implant.
There was a story with her.
No.
That was during the first.
The boyfriend and all that.
No, I'm thinking about. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. She was injured. She was the first battle.
The Battle of the Binary Stars. Because when Michael sees her on the Discovery, she's like, "Keyla," and Kayla's like, "What the fuck you doing here?" And she just doesn't talk to her and just runs off in the mess hall because she's the one to thank for her eye prosthetics that take up half her head.
Yeah. I always wondered if it was like a PTSD from what happened to her before, but I don't know.
Also, in that opening scene where they're about to crash, I thought it was kind of cool. They introduced, I think it was his first real lines with Lieutenant Reese, the Asian guy.
Yeah. If he has any lines, he barely says anything.
Yeah, he took the condo, so I'm glad to see that.
Oh, and Linus talks for the first time in this episode too. Yeah, he doesn't just sneeze.
Well, he calls Giorgio by Giorgio, which I thought was kind of odd. Does the crew know that she's Emperor or Empress Giorgio?
I don't know. Most of the crew knows, but
I don't think so, because I thought they downplayed it. They lied to everyone. I think only a few people know she's from the Mirror Universe.
But why would he call her Giorgio instead of like Captain or I thought she was actually Commander. Someone called her Commander.
Yeah, Shrew calls her Commander the entire time.
Did she lose rank or something?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, although they also did mention there's 88 people on the Discovery. I thought it was just a handful of people. Like, Discovery's only got a complement of over like 150 and 120. So that's
it's definitely a small ship.
That's like 70% of the complement. I didn't realize that many people were staying aboard.
Right. Well, so they find out they did not make it to Terra Elysium, or they're trying to go to, and they have all these EPS conduits that are all messed up that have to be fixed, and so they're going to start. Everything's knocked out on Discovery, so it's like all the EPS conduits,
internal comms, external comms.
Yeah, everything's fried. All the sensors are fried. So there's lots of repairs that have to happen on the ship. And there's some material that they need to get their a rubidium is what they need to get their communications up. So this is where Saru and Tilly are going to take off and look at a settlement not far from where they are to get this rubidium. And so they're going to take it. But in the meantime, Giorgio is kind of up to her tricks. And first of all, she kind of puts down Tilly, for being Tilly. And
Tilly looks very pregnant. What happened in that wormhole?
Yeah, she's still looking good, but it looks like she gained a little bit of weight. I noticed that too.
Well, no, like they were shooting her like from the boobs up, or just really far shots where they're using obvious body doubles, because the far shots she's super slim, and then all the close ups she's like I didn't
pick up on any of that.
I think she's pregnant, and she also looks like she's sick. Like, it looks like she's physically ill a little bit. Like, she's like paler than normal.
Really, I didn't notice any of that. I wasn't really like focusing on her.
Well, they put that really giant barca on her when her and Saru go out, which they do have a history of doing. When Kira got pregnant, she got a jacket, I think, and then when B'Elanna got pregnant, she got a jacket all of a sudden to kind of hide the baby bump.
Well, not only that, with that outfit that her and Saru are in, we've kind of seen that in I think last season when that one?
Well, they found the transported town or whatever.
Yes, yeah, they're in a very similar outfit, and also in Star Trek Into Darkness when they meet was it Into Darkness where they meet the new species? Maybe it wasn't.
I don't think it was that one.
Well, Into Darkness when they go to the Klingon homeworld, they're wearing the same black outfits, kind of like they're just kind of like smuggler clothes is what they called them.
Well, wasn't Giorgio and Burnham wearing that in the very first beginning episode of Discovery when they were on that weird planet with those crab creatures?
I think so.
Yeah.
So it's a common type of robe, apparently.
And it's like this is when we go out.
This is our official drab.
Yeah, when we're not wearing our uniforms. Yeah. So they're gonna go get the rubidium to get this thing fixed, and in the meantime, you have Culber trying to get Stamets back up and running. He has to go to some cellular regeneration chamber, but apparently he doesn't want to stay there for too long, and so he's going to go back to work into engineering, and this is where he has some great interactions with Reno, Jet Reno.
I love her character.
She's great.
Besides Tilly, those two are my favorite characters. Like Tilly and her are just.
I don't know. Perfect. Giorgio's pretty awesome.
Yeah, those three are my favorite.
I don't know. Giorgio still rubs me wrong. I just don't like Mirror Universe Giorgio. I just can't abide the dude.
I would have loved to have seen Captain Giorgio, but yeah. I like Empress Giorgio or Emperor Giorgio. I like the cut of her. I don't know. I like the way her swag, I guess.
Well, you just love her. Your favorite line is "What you call pain, I call foreplay." I mean, come on.
That too.
Yeah, I to me, she's like, I don't understand why you have like a loaded weapon like her constantly around. She seems like. Yeah. I mean, I get what she's
in love with Michael.
She's there to kick ass. Yeah, but it's a part of me sort of. It's against the Federation and Starfleet.
Yeah. It is. You're right. You're right.
Except they keep putting her in control. Like Admiral What's-Her-Face, who decided to hug a torpedo, put her in that control.
Yeah. Cornwall,
yeah. The torpedo hugger.
Because she gets things done. She knows that it might not be pretty, it might not be the Federation way, but she gets it done.
And I get it done, too. I hug the torpedo so good they don't want to detonate. Except for the time they do.
I guess, I mean, and she does get some things done in this episode, but there's a weird encounter with Giorgio and Linus, like as we mentioned before, where she starts talking about how
much the visible spectrum he could see.
Yeah, and he was like, 74,000 nanometers. I'm like, what does that have to do with it? It's a weird thing. Yeah. And then she's like, ooh, and she goes off and is like, what does that mean? Like, what is that even about? So,
I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be referenced later that she needs him for something, but this is also Discovery, so they'll probably just forget about it.
Yeah, who knows? It was just a weird thing.
He's not my favorite character either, though. He's kind of a rude dude. Sneezed all over that one dude.
That one guy, yeah.
Well, I was very rude of him.
That's just foreshadowing. Snot turns into asteroids later. It's not as nice compared to asteroids.
Well, so Saru and Tilly leave the ship, and they start walking out, and they see there's somebody they start following. There's another person off in the distance, and they see a settlement, and they follow this person, and when they get to this certain area, there's like instant teleportation or instant transport or
like
something.
A transporter field that runs across that little hole or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a little door.
Yeah. So and they come into what it looks like as an old saloon, but with
metal,
a little more futuristic
metal swinging doors. But there's the same tiny little swinging doors that aren't really doors. It's just very much saloon's Western feel.
I love the vibe too, the cowboy vibe. Everyone's kind of unsure of each other, grabbing towards their gun. You knew it was about to happen. Everyone's going to draw.
Yep. And that's what happens. Everyone draws on Tilly and Saru, and then there's like Tilly. And it's funny is because Saru, as mentioned before they even leave, is that she's very what did he say? Something
like about, she's a people person, basically. Good first impression.
Yeah, she's good on first impression. So this is where she kind of helps out with that, because they're like, please, you're making me nervous. Stop raising your guns to me. And then we find out that one of the guys there named Kale is like a Federation Starfleet fanboy.
Yep.
And he's just like, I told you they'd come. I told you they'd be here. And they're just like, wow, I guess this guy was right.
So he's Kylo Ren?
Yes.
Or Kylo Ren is the Darth Vader fanboy.
And then he goes, the planet doesn't have a name, but they call it the colony, and they kind of tell him a little bit what's happening, but Saru and Tilly still don't really understand that there's no Federation, or Federation is very small, and that the burn has done something to warp capabilities and dilithium. So they said that they can trade dilithium for exchange of getting their equipment fixed. And so this seems to they broker some agreement at that point. And but they do mention that there's a guy named Zara who is out there, and he's going to be showing up soon, and they can't stay long because he'll, do awful things. So, and then just back on Discovery, Stamets and Reno, or Stamets goes up in the Jeffrey tube, and really long, drawn out thing about him fixing a conduit and bleeding all over the place.
And go ahead, Joe.
I just don't get why they didn't have another person do it.
I thought so too. Like, get somebody up there who's not just like
bleeding. Yeah, there's a lot of capable folks and crew members on the Discovery. Why did he have to do it?
And we find out a little bit later that the glacier that they land on is like, is technically has some, like, it's alive, it's parasitic.
Parasitic ice.
Yeah, so it starts growing on top of it, and it's shaking the ship back and forth. For a while, you didn't quite know why this was happening. The ship was kind of like moving, and it was getting rocked back and forth once in a while. But during that scene where Stamets is fixing that conduit, it's like every time he does fixes something, he just starts rolling back and forth. So I thought it was an odd choice in scene that they decided to do that, just to show that Stamets is stubborn, tenacious. I don't know really what that was trying to convey.
I didn't get it either.
It's I don't know. They're just like going at each other, and this is just
the only thing I like was Reno. Reno was like just giving her little jabs and joking, them both being prickly towards each other. I thought was fun.
That's the only thing I can really imagine them doing it for, is that relationship between the two of them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the only reason it's there. Because I mean, like the girl who comes up offers to go up and do it, and she's like, I've got him just to the point where he's going to admit that he's wrong, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what she was saying. I didn't understand like her turn of phrase there, but I assume that's what she was going for.
Well, back at the old saloon, Cal he has this like programmable matter that he's using to fix their communication device, and Tilly's trying to play it off like, we can do that too. But then
I was just quizzing you.
And Cal is like, you guys aren't from around here. What's going on? So, but then after he fixes everything up for them, they're like, get out of here because Zara's going to be here soon. And they, like, you really got to leave. And then Zara does show up. And
dun, dun, dun.
It's not good for Cal.
His boots even make the stirrup sound. The spurs.
Yeah,
spurs.
I thought that was weird. I was like, why does he have spurs?
I thought that was weird too. I was like, I thought that we were going to see some kind of animal-y rides, but
spurs in space.
Zara's their courier, so he makes deliveries, but he's also like some kind of.
He's a meanie poopy head's courier.
Yeah, he's like, I'll get you things, I'll deliver things back and forth, but you're going to pay and you're going to do basically tribute to me. And he runs the place like a
local dictator.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
He's kind of like Book, but an evil Book.
Yeah.
Career-wise. Same job.
Yeah. So apparently certain people can do the transportation because their ships work with some, but there's a lot of ships that don't work. We just don't know yet why this is the case. So Zara kills Cal, and then not just
very
that,
sad.
but
I liked him.
Yeah, Cal was a nice guy, and
Shoots
I really wanted to
with like a shotgun phaser that melts your inside slowly instead of vaporizes you instantaneously.
It's almost like it stuns too, or like it tases you, because we see that with Giorgio later. But yeah, so
don't tase me, bro.
Why didn't Saru or Tilly react to that? Like, come on, they could have while they were distracted, they could have easily pulled those phasers and shot him and tried to save the day.
Well, they started to, but then they told Saru no, but Saru was too slow. Okay, last season Saru became the apex predator, and now he can he can't take down two guys.
Yeah.
Well, it was 3 guys.
Okay, 3 guys.
Well, with Tilly there though, she she's proven herself in combat.
But
like,
she's
with
pregnant.
that
She can't
piece.
shoot babies at them.
Yeah,
Do we
maybe
know
that
she's
was it.
pregnant?
I don't think so.
I look. Kaylee and I looked it up while we were watching the episode. I think she is pregnant this season.
How do you know that?
We looked it up.
She
Oh,
said
in
she
real
was
life,
pregnant?
she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, she got married into season 1, beginning of season 2. So I mean, things happen when you get married.
No, it doesn't mean
Sometimes. I don't know. Just rewatch
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
rewatch
I
the
know.
rewatch the episode. Like when they're far away, Tilly's very slim. When they're close up on her, she's not as slim anymore. I'm pretty sure they're using a body double for her far away shots or their reshoots.
Mary Wiseman pregnant.
Not seeing anything so far.
Well, there's a thing that shows.
Yeah, we looked it up when we were watching it. I thought for sure she was pregnant.
I don't know. Not seeing anything.
So the only thing I can see is there's a Mary Wiseman on Instagram that has a post that says of her and it looks like her husband kissing, and it says "baby" with a heart, but I don't know what that means. You know, what does that mean? It just means like he could be calling her. Well, there's a whole Reddit thing. Is Mary Wiseman pregnant?
Well, I mean,
But this is 2 years ago. Get out of here.
no. This
Is true.
This one
It
says
it's been a while now.
17 hours. She was pregnant before. She wasn't pregnant before, but she definitely is in season 3.
She might just gain a little weight too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a couple seasons.
Are you just shaming people because of their weight?
No, I'm not trying to shame people because of the way I'm a big guy myself. I think she's pregnant because I mean they shot her really weird, and in Star Trek it's a known fact when one of their leading actors gets pregnant, they put a coat on him and they shoot him weird.
That is true with Roxanne Dawson, Blana. Yeah, they did the same thing with her.
And they did it with Kira and Nerys too. And then they made the plot where they moved Keiko's baby so that they would just let it show. But like because I guess they didn't do the coat thing with her, but they tried shooting her weird. I mean, it's just a staple of Star Trek. That's what they've historically done. I'm not shaming Mary Wiseman at all. Go girl. I'm just saying. I feel like she's pregnant because of the way they're shooting her. Because
I did notice that her face was a little bit bigger, but I didn't notice a belly bump.
But that's why they shoot her from the boobs up, or they shoot. But if you look at the shots from really far away and the shots close up, it's a very different figure.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anything, and I don't know. I mean, and this is this was filmed probably 6 months, if not longer. I mean, she probably would have had the baby by now, or be close to be having the baby. So
yeah, I mean, she's probably. I mean, if she had a baby, she probably already had it. But
we would have known it by now.
the rumors are out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe she kept it private. Then the show just kind of revealed it. I mean, not all the stars like saying we've had a baby.
I guess, but I just
Possibly.
think that's director's choice and how they decided to do things like that. So like frame shots and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do we leave off besides Tilly being pregnant? Zara killed Cal, and they basically are going to. They want Saru to stay there, and they're going to send Tilly back to the Discovery to get dilithium and whatever else they want off their ship.
And he seemed that captain. He seemed to know a lot about like science and how they got there, Discovery, the gravitational waves.
Yeah. He wasn't an idiot. He was just an asshole.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're basically just goons. That's where it comes down to it. So, but then we find out that Giorgio had followed Saru and Tilly, and then she goes in there, and she does get hit with that that weapon that they have, that stun melty stick that they have, guns. But she ends up kicking their ass, and Saru and Tilly both move into action. Tilly hides for a little bit. But
Well, it's also when Giorgio makes that good line that David mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
David, you want to mention it again?
What you call pain, I call foreplay.
Yeah. So, that's a fun scene because I was very happy to see Zara and his men get freaking kick their asses kicked since they killed.
I enjoyed that.
Since they killed Cal, and like I like Cal too. I wanted to see Cal.
And then I love Giorgio's manipulation because she's like talking to the henchman of the guy.
Yep.
And he's like, he's gonna get you killed. It's really great.
That's why I love her.
Yeah, she's great. Like she's a classic manipulator. She's like, imagine what I could do in my sleep.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then Saru whips out his neck poison darts. Which why didn't he do that earlier? Honestly,
yes. Why didn't he do it earlier and kill them all?
I know, right? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they forget things until the last second.
Well,
the apex warrior that we need him to be.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, so they get the upper hand, and Georgie was going to kill Tsar, but then like Saru was like, "You can't kill him. That's not our way." And obviously Georgie was like, "What the hell?" So, but then what's his name? Saru gives it to the bartender.
Yeah,
gives the weapon to him and says, "I'll let you figure out what you want to do with Zara."
I was really hoping he'd just shoot him.
Yeah, I did too. But then he sends him out into out there, and that's when Zara mentions that the parasitic ice will kill him out there.
And then he gives him Tilly's pack. He was like, "Do you mind if he has your pack?" Like,
I know.
Yeah, I do mind. This is a pretty valuable pack.
It just has formula and bottles in it. I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
Oh God, you're gonna get us killed.
Just some clothing.
Yeah. So.
I got a few hair ties in there.
Nappies.
I got some pasties in there too. I don't know if you're into that.
Whoa.
So anyway, so he goes, Zara's going to be back. That's what's going to happen. He's going to come back.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
This
telling you now.
This is Star Trek Discovery. He's equally likely to come back and equally likely to be completely forgotten.
He might be the main bad guy.
Nah.
I don't think main guy, but he's definitely going to be in there. He's going to be stirring shit up, I'm sure. But
the thing is, if warp is limited, spore drive, they can just spore drive away. I mean, in the preview, it looks like they're going to Earth.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I don't know if we want to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm looking forward to that.
Well, so they get back in Discovery. Everything's pretty much patched up, and they're going to take off, and they're having some hard time getting out of the parasitic ice. And
maybe Control won't let her get out of the ice.
So they start trying to lift and get out of there when all of a sudden some ship comes in and puts them in a tractor beam, and they're like, "Oh no, it's one of Zara's competitors, and they're gonna attack us." And Giorgio is like, "Just shoot him!" And Saru's like, "Open hailing frequencies." And who is it? It's Michael Burnham, and she's been looking for them for over a year. So,
and she's got like 3 years worth of hair growth, though, so maybe she can't tell time.
It's a future, so you can do a lot of things.
Well, I've grown my hair out before, and I can only get to about shoulder length in a year.
Yeah, but you don't have future tech, Dave.
Oh, so. I guess.
I thought it was kind of cool that they did the tractor beam, and as soon as they did, I thought it was Burnham. But they also did that.
I didn't even think of it, Joe. When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's like somebody's going to capture him or something like that." And I was like, "What?"
It's the same thing in Context is for Kings in season 1. Remember when they were what was the? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of the ship. The Shinzu. When they were being tractored, when they were about dead in space, they got a tractor. From I forget what ship it was called.
I don't remember
that flagship.
It was the Admiral ship, I think.
Yeah. But it was very similar.
But yeah, so now they're back together, and that's cool. And we're gonna see. I think we're gonna get more information now from what's going on with the burn. I mean, obviously, maybe they don't have figured out what happened, but they'll know a better idea what it is.
Michael can tell Tilly how many times she's had sex with Book in the past year.
Oh God.
I'm just glad they found each other. I didn't want this to be the whole season where they're
separated
for each other. Yeah.
I was kind of happy too that I was afraid that we would get like a whole half the season with Michael and then half the season with Discovery, and then they meet up. So I'm glad they're kind of back together. So
I thought they'd get back together either at the very end of this episode or end of next episode.
No. So that wraps up the show, and obviously you said like the last spoilers or trailer for the next episode is that it looks like they're going to Earth. So we're going to see what Earth looks like way in the future.
Florida's gone.
Florida's gone.
The bottom part just fell off and just floated away after.
It's part of Cuba now.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though, David. I mean, well, no, that was after that Enterprise episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it. But it's been 1,000 years, over 1,000 years since that Enterprise episode. Maybe Florida migrated finally.
Yeah,
I don't think it would happen. But let's get our reactions, Joe. Since you're our guest, let's hear what you feel about this episode and your thoughts on it.
Oh, loved it. I'm really curious. One part that I noticed was they mentioned the Tellarite exchange.
Yes.
Which sounds like it's different. Yeah. It sounds like it's different, though, from the Orion exchange, which is also another very interesting concept that the Orions and the Andorians are working together, which, like, I was chatting with Dave earlier, and I was like, isn't Andoria closer to Earth, and Orion is a lot further away?
Yes.
I guess, but it seemed like the Andorians were closer to Vulcan, and
the Vulcan's also not that far away.
And then relatively, right?
Compared to everywhere else.
In Star Trek travel, parlance, they're not that far away.
And the Tellarites and the Andorians are always kind of like really, brushing up against not liking each other for generations, and so
I wonder if that rivalries
started back up.
Yeah.
But
Other than that, I'm liking the positivity. I'm liking the hope is still there with the Federation. It seems like in both this episode and last episode, there's that one person. It doesn't seem like there's many people that still believe in the Federation. Like Book kind of says, do you still believe in ghosts? So it's probably not a lot of people believe in the Federation, but there's still a few that are holding out hope, and I kind of like that. It's kind of Star Trek-y.
Yeah. What you do?
Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah.
How Indiana Jones had no effect on the plot of the episode. I mean,
what are you talking about?
Well, the Nazis' goal was to get the Ark of the Covenant and open it up, which they did, and then the Ark of the Covenant killed them. So Indiana Jones' interactions in the movie had nothing to do. It didn't change the outcome, in a positive way, anyway.
Well, after they killed all each other, then he got and took it back to America to be stuck in a warehouse forever.
True to that.
To be stuck, but still, like, it didn't really.
And he killed a lot of Nazis, Dave.
But the Nazis would have all died anyway, opening up the Ark of the Covenant, so it would have been fine. But
all the ones in the Middle East.
Yeah, see, but the thing is, at least he killed Nazis. The crew of the Discovery, everything would have been the same had they done nothing.
Big German guy at the plane got his face cut off by the propeller. That was sweet ass shit.
Sure, but what I'm saying was the action isn't bad, and this was a good episode. But I'm just saying, like, whereas Indiana Jones did kill Nazis, Discovery people leaving the Discovery got the innocent Kel killed, who was not a Nazi.
That is true.
And they would have been rescued.
Are you talking about Cal getting killed?
Yeah, Kel getting killed. Kel was not a Nazi.
You can't blame. Okay, Zara is a bad guy and he kills Cal. They didn't know that he was going to do that.
But if they stayed on the ship, they would have gotten rescued anyway. And their interaction.
Oh, you're just saying if they never.
They never left. I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. This was a great episode. Raiders of the Lost Ark was a great movie, but their interaction didn't really move the plot forward. It didn't do anything. Much like Saru and Tilly. And in fact, their interaction with the world actually was detrimental.
You talking bad about Raiders of the Lost Ark? I might not have to be a friend anymore.
No, I'm not talking about bad. I'm just saying, like, his interaction didn't really move the story. Didn't really change anything with the story in a positive way. And I'm just saying that they didn't do anything positive either by leaving the ship. They would have been rescued either way. By Michael
but
Burnham.
they didn't know that, of course.
I understand that. I'm just saying it's a good thing, although it all kind of doesn't really add up to anything. it was good. It was entertaining. Very TOS-y feels with the bar fight and everything. Love Giorgio. Love her foreplay sense, I guess. She's a lot of fun. The tech is interesting, like just like instant transport areas that take you to places. That's kind of fun.
Program material,
programmable matter. Although I guess that's probably what the Federation guy. All that stuff is probably programmable material instead of holograms.
Yeah.
Although holograms are holograms you can touch and feel are probably technically more high tech than programmable matter, because I think we're closer to programmable matter now than we would be to holograms you can touch and feel. So technology is a little bit backwards as far as like how it would probably realistically play out, but it was a lot of fun. Like this felt very Star Trek, and I loved it for that. And honestly, more. And I was surprised they did an episode that almost had no Michael Burnham. I was surprised and relieved, and like the show works so much better when the actors and the characters are working as an ensemble instead of just focused on one single character. Yes. And I'm almost kind of scared of next episode not being as good because Michael Burnham's going to be back in the mix, and it's going to revolve all around her again. I mean, I hope not. I hope they finally got on the ensemble train, but I guess
hope
we'll have
they
to
jump
see.
To Earth. I saw the previews and all that. I hope they jump to Earth in this next episode, and we get to see what's going on over there.
Yeah, although I suspect we'll probably get like the flashback of what happened over the year, because we have seen previews before Discovery came out of Michael's hair growing and her saying she searched. So I wonder how much the episode will be about her and her past year. You know what I mean?
It'll be the first 15 minutes, I'm sure.
We'll probably jump to Earth at the very end of the episode. I mean, if they do it sooner, I'd be all for it. But I mean, she might be playing like the year of catch up with the crew of the Discovery. I honestly wish they would have ended season 2 with the ship crashing and then not knowing what happened.
Yeah,
because it just felt anticlimactic at the end of season 2, where they just flew through the hole and then we got 15 minutes of the Enterprise and like and nothing happening. Like Spock doesn't see the signal, and like there's nothing. Like nothing happens.
In season 1 they ended it a lot better with the Enterprise coming up. It's like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah, and season 2 just ended like it almost like was a different show. It just was following the Enterprise. Like if they would have showed the Discovery in turmoil and stuff like that, or just like falling apart, or everyone passed
blacking out in the wormhole.
Yeah, if they just sort of blacked out in the wormhole, like shit was happening, that would have been a lot more exciting, and that would have been a more fun place to jump in. I mean, we did get it at the beginning of this, but I think that that like scary cliffhanger would have been more fun for the end of the last season. Personally, I don't know. How about you, Aaron? What were your more in-depth thoughts on this one?
I love this episode. I like the last episode. I think they're not trying to tell this huge story. I mean, it's a big story because they have a whole universe they basically have to discover and find out what the burn is and what the lay of the land is. But we're seeing it more just through their eyes and not like these like giant wars and everything else. I just feel it's more insular, and I kind of like that. I want to see what the crew is up to, and I want to see Michael Burnham, how she finds Discovery, and I liked last episode because she was trying to just figure out where she was in time. This episode is great. I love the crew. Jet Reno is like the best character. Her and Tilly are my favorites, and I'm glad they're giving her more lines and more screen time. So I hope we see more of her. And the only one that at least part of this episode I thought was questionable was Culber rolling around in the Jeffries tube. I got what they were doing, but it was just seemed drawn out. And after a while, because every time he fixed one thing, he just basically rolled back and forth, and they just shake the camera, and I was just like, what is this doing? It just didn't make any sense to me. It was like they could have changed that up somehow, but
he's trying to be macho and show off for his not girlfriend.
I know, but I don't know. I mean, I get it. I mean, I think we've already established he integrated his DNA with tardigrade DNA. So I mean, it's like the guy takes takes risks and pushes himself. I mean, it's like, what else do we need? Why do we need to see this? I mean,
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, just because we're speaking about Stamets and Colbert, did you notice they rolled out the alien with a really weird face that we always made fun of? That Colbert and him were hooking up.
What the hell is that alien?
We always joked that Colbert and him were hooking up, and I'm like, oh no, they killed Colbert's new lover from season 2.
Yeah, no, yeah, they
now he's got to be with Stamets.
I don't even know what that alien is.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. It's dead though.
I would have liked if the Discovery was out like 30 years later instead. After Burnham, she's all like
Burnham's like an old woman at that point. She's like, I'm ready to collect my pension now, Starfleet.
I've waited my whole life for you to come through.
I didn't even go back to Earth because I was waiting for you for so long.
Yeah,
that would be better actually for her to be written off the show. Because the show is so much better without her.
That would have been interesting. But she's their star. She's not going to get written off.
Wait, you don't like Michael Burnham?
I like her.
No, I'm asking Dave.
What, has that been a secret for 3 years?
You've never come out and said you don't like her.
I like Sonequa Martin Green. She's a fantastic actress. I've never liked Michael Burnham. I've always thought she was written obtusely. Like the writing around her is pitiful, just like it was around Janeway. A lot of times around a lot of other female characters in Star Trek, it's usually not very good.
Yeah.
I like her. I think she's doing a good job on there.
I think Sonequa's doing a great job. She's
writing wise. I still like her character. She had an interesting beginning. Growing up on Vulcan as a human. I think it's an interesting background for her.
I guess my only gripe with that is that she was shoehorned into Spock's story. I was not like you could have picked any other Vulcan and it would have worked relatively the same.
Make her Tuvok's sister.
But honestly,
I love that Tuvok's sister.
And Tuvok would totally be the actor. Tim Russ would have been there in a minute.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, come on, because Tuvok was alive. I mean, he was on Sulu's ship. I mean, it's not that far fetched.
No.
I just that's the only thing, and we've made complaints that it's always Michael Burnham comes in to save the day with the whole ship, and what they have this whole great crew, and a lot of times they don't get to shine as much
because she's the Mary Sue. It's the Mary Sue show.
Yeah, I think they're trying to cure it from that, but I
hope they are. I really hope they are, because I mean, like, as long as everyone can work together as an ensemble, like Star Trek has always been before this.
Yeah.
Even Star Trek Picard, that was called Picard, was more an ensemble show than Discovery.
I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think she fills in the Mary Sue thing. I think she's very good at what she does, but she's like riddled with all this guilt and anger about her past.
But it doesn't stop. That doesn't stop her from fixing every single problem they ever come across.
She does make some of her own problems.
Well, granted, that's true.
And she still fell for Ash Tyler, which was
huge
terrible choice.
Ant face. Oh, the greatest thing is it doesn't seem like he's in the show because his name isn't in the credits.
I know. And going on what Joe was saying, and I think you touched on it too, Dave, is that I really happy that the crew exudes the positivity and optimism what Starfleet, the Federation, is supposed to be. It's so nice to actually, it's hard for me to articulate because like everyone's a little bit young. I mean, is younger than me. One of my favorite movies growing up as a little kid was the very first Richard Donner's Superman movie with Christopher Reeve.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It's dated now, of course.
Oh yeah.
But what was great about it, not only Christopher Reeve is just a great actor, is that he just embodies optimism. And I'm not like back in the day when I was a little kid, Superman was amazing to me. But now, I mean, I've kind of outgrown that. But I have noticed over the years that the one thing we're always into the Batmans and all the like the Wolverines and the stories of these anti-heroes. and those are fascinating stories, and there's nothing wrong with it. But
They're
there's
broken.
they're always broken characters. What about in the new Superman movies, which are beautiful movies, but they miss the optimism and the hope.
Yeah.
The conviction when Christopher Reeves tells Lois Lane that I never lie, except for my alter ego, but and stuff like that, and he's just always there to be that symbol of hope that we could be better than what we are, and that's what I always loved about from the original series to Next Gen, Deep Space Nine. And all of them are trying to show that we could all be better than what we are. And that's what I liked about this episode, is that here's shining examples of what you could be if
100%.
And that's what I want to see in Star Trek. I don't want to, and that's the one of the things I recoil when I see Giorgio. I get kind of just I get what I understand. It's she's sort of like the bad guy, bad girl.
She's the necessary evil.
But that's bullshit to me. That's where I'm like, that's Henry Cavill breaking Zod's neck at the end of the first thing of Superman movie.
Yeah,
the Christopher Reeve wouldn't have done that.
Saru's like that though. Saru's that very typical Federation. Exemplifies Starfleet and all their ideals, and I think it's a battle between him and Giorgio, who's the opposite. And I love the contradiction between the two. It's just a great juxtaposition between the two.
And even Michael Burnham, who made the mistake of mutinying against our prime Captain Giorgio, but she's learned from that mistake. And she's made better on it over the time. She exudes it still. She exudes this thing that
100%.
We need to be better, and that's what I want to see more. That's why when Pike showed up, I was like, that's the kind of character I want to see more. Just the confidence of I am doing what's right. I know I'm doing the right thing because this is what you have to do. You have to be ethically and morally. And a good person,
And we saw that in the first episode where Burnham's showing that at the exchange, where she trusts Book and believes in his best, even though he screwed her over and double crossed her.
Right? Exactly.
She still trusted him to do the right thing, even though he failed at it.
That's what I like most. I think most about this episode. I mean, there's a lot of fun in this episode. The like you said, the Western gunfight and all that stuff that's going on there, and Jet Reno's awesome. But I just love that's what I want to see, and I hope that we still keep saying that. So
yeah, it's been a good start to the season so far.
I hope so too. Although I do think it's a little strange that this alien is so waxing philosophical about how the Federation is so great when contemporary, when the Federation is in, most alien races that aren't part of the Federation scoff at the Federation, in Voyager and Deep Space Nine. Anyone who's not part of the Federation is basically scoff at it. And now, way in the future, people are just pining for it, which is kind of strange.
Well, it could be maybe Cal was loved history, and it's us reading stories about the Roman Empire and be like, man, what a great time that was to be alive.
Man, I wish it could be Nero's number one, man. Yeah.
Well, maybe not Nero, but
well, you said Roman though, man.
But I'm just saying, it's there's, I'm just saying that maybe that's what he's thinking back, and they're thinking well, I mean, it technically would be 1,000 years in the past, Well,
the Federation existed up until 130 years ago.
Right.
Well, the burn.
Not to get too political, but kind of like America stepping out of foreign affairs for a little bit. We've kind of stepped back a little bit in the world scene without so much of our leadership. We still have leadership, but we kind of taken a step back though from the last decade or so comparison. And it's kind of what's the world like without America?
That's what drone strikes is for, Joe.
Well, but that's the thing is, and then you have bad actors step in like Russia, like China, and they're not always going to do maybe the best for everybody.
And it's like the Federation, maybe there's like the Orions obviously got more powerful, and Andorians have turned, I don't know, mercenary-ish.
Mm-hmm. Right. I don't know. I mean, it's very true. I mean, it's it's a power vacuum, right? So if some big empire country starts receding into the background, somebody's going to take up and fill that void.
Which kind of brings up another question for me is, since all these people, Orion, well, not necessarily Orions, but like the Tellarites and the Andorians, they used to be part of the Federation. They seem to be, from what we can see now, on their own. Are humans like the only faction, or are humans doing their own thing? The Federation, are they the only Federation member now?
I don't know. It seems like the universe is tribal now because warp is so limited. There is. Yeah. I don't think there is an overarching. I mean, there might be, but I mean, the little bit they've given us for the lore of the future is the Federation kind of exists. There's not much of it because there's not much dilithium. It just seems like everything's like super tribal, almost like medieval. Like you know, like everyone's like a serf to their
state.
The last episode, they showed that they said that there were a couple of ships flying around, but like those are Federation ships. I thought he said that.
Yeah, he did.
He said there's 2 Federation ships, but
he knows of.
Why
within
aren't
a 600.
Contacting him? Why aren't they?
Why isn't he contacting them? Better of all, why didn't he ask them to put up the flag like the first time he saw one?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe they're like, we don't listen to you.
Maybe this guy's just a huge jerk, and just the Federation's gonna be upset that Berman actually promoted him. They're like, what did you do this for? This guy's an idiot.
Why'd you bring that guy in? Not that guy.
There's a reason he's not an officer.
You realize he flunked out of Starfleet 16 times. It's not because no one was around.
It's funny. It's like he's literally a bureaucrat trying to be like an office jockey for the Federation, and yet he's got no function.
Yeah,
he lives in this debris field of whatever was left of that base.
Well, his next door room is filled with red tape. He just likes cutting it up and making origami out of it.
Yeah,
he's kind of like Creation Starfleet right now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I've been very happy, and I definitely entered into this season with a very open mind, and I'm just not disappointed. There's nothing that's really disappointing me yet. So
not disappointed like I was in Picard.
Picard, Keyla. So you didn't love Picard?
No,
Did anyone?
I was really hoping for it. This was probably of all the new latest series, this was the one that I was so hyped for. It brought back Patrick Stewart, which I'm a huge fan. I love TNG, and to see him, he's so old now.
Very old, yeah.
He's still a good actor and everything, but yeah, it was such a slow pace for this season. It wasn't exciting for me. It was cool to throw back seeing Riker and what they're doing up now, Troy, seeing what they're up to.
Pizza.
And Data. Yeah, making pizza, making food. And I was also disappointed with the ships. That was the biggest gripe for me, was the last battle. Why was there just one type of ship?
Copy-paste ship.
Oh my gosh. There should have been multiple, at least a couple designs. I get maybe that in the future they want to consolidate, but they'd have to have more than one type of ship.
I feel like Picard's budget was incredibly limited. I mean, just looking at these first 2 episodes of Discovery, like, all their money is going into Discovery for whatever reason. I mean, or maybe all the money in Picard went to Patrick Stewart and they didn't have money to spend on anything else.
That could be possible.
I mean, I don't know how the money is divided up, but just looking at Discovery versus looking at Picard, like, you can see so much money going into Discovery just by how good it looks. Discovery's always looked very good. Picard was like very under par comparatively.
Well, you saw in Data all that the CGI stuff in the first episode.
It wasn't even very good. They de-aged people in Marvel movies way better.
Yeah.
I mean, so the technology's there. I mean, I guess it's just more expensive to do it the way they do it in the Marvel movies. I don't really know. But I mean, deep fake stuff is like super cheap, supposedly. So I mean, I don't know why
That's what I thought too.
I don't know, like, because the thing is, like, people like the whole deal with the deep fake stuff was that like it was done for a fraction of the cost, and like they were able to take the much stuff off of Henry Cavill way better.
Yeah, why didn't they use Nemesis data?
I don't know. I don't know. As far as for the future of the show goes this season, I really hope the burn doesn't take up a whole bunch of it. I would like to see them rebuild Starfleet, and I would like to see them just get back to just exploring. They've got the Spore Drive. They can go to the Delta Quadrant. They can go to the Gamma Quadrant. Yeah. They can go to, Andromeda. They could go to any number of different places and just explore it, because, I mean, theoretically, there's no limit to the Spore Drive. I mean, like...
It would be awesome if they went back to the Delta Quadrant.
Like,
some of the episodes or some of the species from Voyager.
Let's see the dinosaurs again. Come on.
Yes. Maybe
probably
super technology advanced.
Actually, maybe the dinosaurs came back to Earth and the Federation doesn't live there anymore.
They're all dinosaurs now.
Yeah, we're dinosaurs now, dude.
This is our homeworld.
Yeah, we came back. We invaded. I mean, they had better technology anyway. Yeah. I mean, they would have outpaced... are
100%.
Are the Borg still around? Like, I mean, like, what's like? I don't know. I just really want to see them do. I want to see them explore again. I want to see, like, more Star Trek-y stuff, and
all of the Delta Quadrants now Borg territory.
Yeah. Or did the Founders come back in the Gamma Quadrant? I mean, there's so much stuff they could explore in the future. And I'm scared they're just going to be stuck in the Alpha Quadrant, dealing with whatever, not control, whatever the burn is. And I really hope it's not the entire season doing that. I really hope they just kind of get that out of the way quick, unless it, like we were talking about last week, it turns into a time travel subplot and they bring back the Temporal Cold War. I would be fine with that for an entire season. But if it's not that, if it's its own thing and it has no tie into previous canon, I hope they just drop that as quick as they can, rebuild the Federation, and then let's get back on to exploration and what Star Trek is about. And then, Spore Drive's going everywhere. I mean, you don't need dilithium with the Spore Drive. You just need to turn people into tardigrades.
Maybe they get the Federation back together, and the rest of the episodes are just them building ships,
Spore Drive ships.
Yeah, that's all they're doing, and they're just like it's them working, nonstop building ships.
Federation's back.
I just want to see Space Geordie with the whip, just getting everyone building the ships back again. Maybe Mars is habitable now, this many years in the future. Geordie's back, baby.
Well, guys, it's a great episode. I can't wait to see Earth, what Earth looks like in over 1,000 years in the future. Now, I'm trying to do the calculation. It would be well over 1,000 years in the future. So
we saw him really advanced in Picard, so I can't even imagine what it would be like now.
Yeah. It'll probably be all bombed out.
Well, I mean, like, speaking of Picard, I mean, like, it seems like they're going to bounce back from the darkness of Picard real quick because everyone's got such a sunny view of the Federation in the future. So hopefully season 2 of Picard will be much more Star Trek-y, for the love of God, please.
And are we going to see a Starship Enterprise?
Oh, let's see the Enterprise Z.
Z. Yeah, right. Well, guys, let's wrap the show up. We've got quite a few more episodes to go, and so far it's been fantastic.
Is it 13 this season?
I don't know how far it's
12? I think it's more than 10.
It's 13 episodes. Yeah, 13 episodes.
We still have 11 to go.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
So, guys, do you have different thoughts, different feelings on this? You can contact us. You can hit us up on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Synthaholics. You can also email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. And you can hit us up on Twitter at SynthaholicsDuo. Joe, is there any way you want people to get in contact with you on the interwebs?
Yeah, if you want to hit me on Twitter, I don't use it too much, but I listen to messages and all that stuff. It's Joe DePinto, JoeDepinto, That's it. Joe DePinto, WA.
All right. Well, Joe, it was always great to talk to you and get all your insights and thoughts on all this stuff. I know you're a super fan, and you're always got a lot of different things that maybe that we wouldn't have thought of, or different takes on things. So that's always great to hear your take on all these developments.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. No, this has been a real pleasure, and I appreciate you having me back on.
Yeah,
I always have a great time with you, too.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Joe.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Very fun. All right, Dave. Next week, we go on to The People of Earth is the name of the episode.
The dinosaurs of Earth. Come on. Give us dinosaurs.
They come back.
I mean, come on. They could have.
They could have. It's true. It's very true.
Unless they wiped themselves out.
All right, guys. Well, until next week, live long and prosper, one and all.
Toodaloo.
Well, McCoy, my boy, come mix me a drink. Before the night's over, I'll puke in the sink, and we'll cry till we laugh, and we'll both shit our pants. You're the best drinking friend I ever had.
Everybody do the dinosaur.
Oh, man. Mary Wise is pregnant. Start an internet rumor.
I mean, she's still looking good, though.
It's all over the internet, but the pictures that they're talking about are literally from season 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like, what the people are just saying shit because she's not is this skinny mini.
Oh.
I didn't think she was pregnant last season. I think she's pregnant now. I think they're shooting her a lot differently.
Well,
But
didn't
they would know by now.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, weren't they shooting at least a year ago?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, we would have
Would've
known
had the
by
baby
now.
by now.
Yeah,
They finished shooting this thing a long time ago.
Yeah, I honestly think that she just gained some weight. I mean, it was over a year since the last season, wasn't it? And they recorded.
The recording is really weird for Discovery because they keep pushing it in weird areas. I think they shoot them relatively quick and they just take forever to put them out. Partially because of post production, but also partially because Picard, Lower Decks, they're trying to they're trying to fill up the schedule with Star Trek as much of the year as they can, and they could do that easier if they had 27 episode seasons. But we're at 10 Lower Decks, 10 for Picard, and I guess 13 this season for Discovery.
I don't want to see 10 seasons for Picard. Jeez.
No, it's 10
He's not
episodes.
going to be alive for 10 seasons. Oh, 10 episodes. I'm he's not even going to be alive for 10 seasons.
He's a robot now. He can live as long as he wants.
Yeah. Well, he can, but Patrick Stewart probably can't. He's super old. He's in his 80s, isn't he?
He's almost the same age as William Shatner.
Well, yeah, but William Shatner has a ton of plastic surgery. He looks a lot younger.
I hate to say it, but Shatner is going to, sooner or later, we're going to get the bad news on Shatner.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen,
Yeah.
So
It's kind of
cool. Well, go ahead.
I was just saying it's kind of shocking. Like Shatner's. I saw him at Nickel City Con a couple of years ago, and he doesn't act like he sounds and acts like he's still in his 50s. It's kind of incredible how in good shape he is. I mean, plastic surgery or no, he doesn't move like he's an 86-year-old man.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I've met him before too, and he acts a lot younger. Whereas Patrick Stewart, I've seen him on stage. I haven't met him personally, but I've seen him on stage, and he acts his age. He's a lot slower.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.